Okay, this is a Word tutorial. It's focused on Word 2016. I'm going to be using a past paper to try and demonstrate most of the techniques that you need to know. Obviously, one paper will not cover absolutely everything, so I may be spreading into other areas as well, so I can try and cover as much as possible. So this is basically a question paper, and it starts off with the company you're going to be working for, and we're going to start by opening the evidence document here. Open the file M2017 evidence RTF, so I'm going to do that now. Let me just put that into view, and while that's loading, I'm going to have a read here. Place in the header your name, center number and candidate number so that these appear on every page of the document. It doesn't say anything about alignment, so I'm just going to bring this into recording view. Okay, and I'm simply going to double click in the header area. Now, one very useful thing to do is this: always go to view and click on ruler, and that displays the rulers at the top, so make sure this is ticked. Very easy to see your margins. So if I double click here, I'm going to enter my name, center number is CY127, and for candidate number I'm just going to put 1234, and double click in the main document to come out of the header and footer area. Okay, so let's go back. Next, so we've done that, we're going to highlight that as well. Save your evidence document in the work area as evidence, followed by your candidate number, for example that. So I want to, and can you see it has that in capital letters, so I'm going to make sure I do that as well. So file, save as, make sure I'm in the same folder as I was before, and I'm going to change that to a Word document. Change that to evidence, followed by my candidate number, and save. Just make sure you're saving in the same folder as where all your other files are. Save. Okay, so that's done. Okay, you will need this evidence document to store screenshots of the evidence you're instructed to produce and answers to questions. Okay, so task 3. Now, task 2 was actually a PowerPoint presentation part. I've cut that bit out. That'll be later. So you're going to edit a newsletter about the wood store company's projects. Using a suitable software package, load this. So I'm not going to do this immediately. I'm going to read through. Set the page size to A4. Should be portrait. And as you can see, I'm highlighting the important things. Set top margin to 3.5 centimeters and all other margins to 2 centimeters. Okay, so we'll begin. So I've read all this section first, and it's got where I'm going to put my evidence as well. So I want this one here, wood store M217 wood store RTF, and I'll put this back into recording view there. I'm going to zoom that in just a little bit. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the layout of my document. So if I go to layout, I can go to page setup. I'm going to click on this little arrow there. This gives me the full dialog box, and I'm just going to double check everything that I've got here. So page A4, portrait. So that's portrait, paper. So I'm going to choose my A4. There it is there, and top margin 3.5 and the rest to 2. So top margin is 3.5. I can delete that and just punch these in. Okay, click OK. If I zoom out, we can see my page 3.5 at the top and 2 centimeters going all the way around. Okay, and now I need to provide evidence of that, so I'm just going to do this. Just have a look. It says placing the evidence of a screenshot to show the page size, orientation and margin settings. Now you can do this in a number of ways. I like doing everything from this area here. So I'm going to take my screenshot, new, and I'm going to add both of these in there. So that will go in my evidence. Click OK. evidence of page size and margin. So I'm going to place that one there, and I'm also going to show my page size as well. Okay. So you're fine to use 2 screenshots if they're on different windows. That's not a problem. Okay. Let's click OK on that. And I'm going to add my next screenshot after that. Okay, it doesn't matter that it goes down. We're under the same title. If you want to make these a bit smaller, as long as you make them big enough to be easy to read and understand for the examiner, you don't want them pulling out a microscope or their glasses. So I'm just going to make that a bit bigger because there we go. Doesn't matter. 2 pages, that's fine. Don't worry about how many pages you use for your evidence document. Okay, so next part of the question. Save the newsletter with a new file name. Make sure it's saved with the format of the software you're using. So we want the software you are using. We're using Microsoft Word, so we need to save it as a Word document. Place in your evidence document screenshot to show this file has been saved. Okay, so from here I'm going to go back to my evidence to my document, file, save as. Again, I'm saving in the same place, but I can see it from there. There's my folder, desktop, and there's my source files. And I'm going to change this now to a Word document. And it should be, make sure it's saved in the format, save the newsletter with a new file name. Okay, so it doesn't say what file name, so I can call it whatever I like. I'm going to call it newsletter. With the software you're using, and that's all it wants. Doesn't need any file name, or so I'm just going to make sure that's a docx. I'm just going to put my NP for my initials there as well, and I'm going to click save. Now I need to go to my folder, and I need to show this file here. I cannot show the screenshot from here. If I go to file, save as, the screenshot from here is not good enough to show that you're saving it with the docx extension, because you haven't clicked on save yet. So after you've saved it, you go to your folder. It's good to highlight the file that you want to show, and also change the view if you want. I like using the content view when I'm showing things like this, because it gives the full extension of the file name. It gives some extra information like date modified, but again, it's up to you. Details is also a good one. I'm just going to expand this one here so they can see entirely that it's a Word document. Highlight that one by clicking on it once and take my screenshot. Now, I'm not going to take a screenshot of just the file. I'm going to take just a little bit more like that. That shows all my files. Back to my evidence, and that will go there. Okay. Next step. Place in the head of your newsletter your name, center number, candidate number left aligned. The image, that on the right. So I want this to be left aligned. I want that image on the right. And I'm going to resize this image to be 3 centimeters high. Maintain the aspect ratio. So first of all, I want to go to my document. Double click in the margin area. I'm going to type my name. Center number, and my candidate number. Okay, and that's all left aligned. Now remember, if they wanted your name left aligned, center number center aligned, and your candidate number right aligned, you can do this by placing your insertion point where you want to stop that alignment. So I want the CY127 in the center. Go to insert alignment tab, put center, and then I can place my insertion point after my candidate, before my candidate number, and say right align on that, and that does that. The other way you can do, let me just undo that, is you could always add a, so if I cancel that, if I copy that, Control X, so if I want to go to my insert, okay, and I'm going to go to my headers and footer. So if I go to header, I can choose a header which has 3 items at the top, and I can type each one in the appropriate place. It's entirely up to you how you do this. So I'm just going to undo that and go back to what I had. Okay, now it wants me to insert the picture. So I'm going to, the picture needs to be on the right hand side. It says here, image on the right. So I'm just going to insert an alignment tab so that my insertion point goes here. And when I insert my picture, it will go there. I'm going to go to insert, and now I need to insert my image. So there's my pictures. I need to go to my folder where all my files are, and that's actually on my desktop. And there's my folder here. And let me just check the image name. M217 image. M217 image. Yeah, there it is there. And that actually inserts my image on the right hand side because that's where my insertion point was. Now it wants the image to be 3 centimeters high, maintain the aspect ratio. Now maintaining the aspect ratio means that I'm not going to do this. I'm not just going to take that and flatten it down to 3 because I've now just squashed this chair. Maintaining the aspect ratio is basically when you change the width or the height, the other side would also change respectively. So by selecting my image, and if I'm not in the image area, I can click on my picture. I can now see the image ribbons. I can change the height now to 3 centimeters, and as soon as I click here, you can see that one also changed automatically. And this now is the aspect ratio maintained, and I can see that here this is 3 centimeters. Okay, so now I can double click on that there. Okay, now then let's go have a look at the next part. Place in the footer the automated file name with file path, and we want this aligned to the right. Okay, make sure that all header and footer items are aligned to the page margins and are displayed on each page. So from here I'm going to go to my footer, so I'm going to go down to the bottom, double click in the bottom margin, easy way to open that up, and I want to add the automated file name and path, align that to the right. So I'm going to go to insert the alignment tab from now. And now I'm going to go to insert. Want to go to quick parts. Oh, I've lost it. Where are we? Let me just maximize this so I can see the entire ribbon. And there it is there, quick parts. I'm going to go into a field, find my file name. Oops, wrong one. File name. And I also want to add the path to that file name and click OK. Now, the fact that this is a really long path because I've got mine on the desktop, that's fine. We can see it's aligned to the right hand side, and that's not a problem. Don't try and wrap the text to make it small. The fact that it's aligned to the right hand side, that's all you need. Okay, and now I want to make sure that all header and footer items are aligned to the page margins are displayed on each page. So aligned to the page margins, we can see that here my name begins with the margin of this text, so that's good. And the same with this picture here, it starts with the margin of that text. If my picture was here, for example, a bit further away over this side, then that will be wrong. So basically you need to make sure that the items that you've entered are within the alignment of your page margins, and we can see this one here as well starts from the right, and that's where the text of the document begins as well. So these two are finished also. Now then, let's start going to creating the styles. I'm going to create this style and show you how to create this style and go through a number of things on styles first. Okay, and then I'm going to pause and create the rest of them. So I go back to my document. I'm going to go to the very beginning. Oh, it's actually called the beginning, and I'm going to create my first style. So I need to go to home. Let's just restore this now. There we go. So I'm going to go to home, and here are my styles. I'm going to click on this little icon here. Oops, that's dropped it all the way down there. Let me bring this up. That should actually drop there. And I'm going to add a new style. Now, your Microsoft Word might look a little bit different to mine, but basically everything should be in the same place. So, new style. I'm going to call my style exactly as it's called here. So I'm going to do this one first. Okay, so it's WS dash subheading. So WS dash subheading. I'm going to put all the capital letters, small letters as they are. Now, what's really important, you need to do the style is based on normal. And what Word will do, it will base the new style you've got depending on where your insertion point is. So if your insertion point is somewhere where you already have some formatting, that formatting will be included as well. And we don't want that. So always make sure your style is based on normal. Then I'm going to have a look at font style, serif, and serif font are fonts with ticks. So I'm going to choose Times New Roman. Okay, and what's that? 16 and left alignment. Size 16, aligned to the left, that one there. And then we've got bold italic, line spacing single. So we want bold, italic, and line spacing single. Now the line spacing is in the format area, in the paragraph area. So we go to format, so go to paragraph, and here we've got all the paragraph alignments. For example, indentation of the first paragraph. I want single line spacing. It doesn't say anything. Oh, does it? I think this one does actually. It says space after 12 points. So I need to go back and the space after, increase that to 12. Now 12 basically means every time you press enter, it's going to leave a 12-point gap, single line spacing. And if I wanted the first line to be indented, I can go to special and choose first line indenting. You can see that there how that indents, but we don't want that, just in case it does. And if it says first line indented by 1.5 centimeters, then you choose first line and you increase that to 1.5 if that's the case. In this case, we don't want any first line indenting. Click OK, and then click OK, and I now have this subtitle, and automatically it's been added here. You can see because my insertion point was there. I'm going to start the next one just so you can see what happens. So I'm going to do this one now, WS title. I'm going to go to new style. Now keep in mind my insertion point is here where the formatting is actually WS subheading because it's been applied. So when I go to create a new one, you can see that it's basing the new style on WS subheading, and we don't want that. Otherwise you're going to get all this formatting coming into the new one. So first thing we want to do is change that to normal, give it its name, WS title, and then I can start adding the different fonts. So sans serif 36 right. So sans serif font is Arial, 36 points. If you can't find the value which is already predefined here, you can just click inside here and type in 36. Left aligned, bold, italic. Left aligned, bold, italic. Oh, sorry, my bad. 36. Right aligned, no enhancement. So right aligned and no bold, no italic. And then, so that's none. Single line spacing 0, 0. So I'm just going to go and check those. I'm going to go to my format paragraph. There we go. Single line spacing. And I'm going to change that to 0. Okay, so before and after is on 0. And click OK. Now automatically it's changed my title where my insertion point is here to this one because that's where the insertion point is. Don't worry about your text changing. Before we start applying the formatting of the font, we're going to remove all the formatting and then apply it so they all look the same and they're all going to be correct. So I'm going to pause this video and do the rest of them. Okay, so I'm finishing the last one off here now. And this is actually WS table. I just wanted to show you also if you wanted to add, if there was some font formatting that was being requested and you can't find it in this very basic settings page here. Again, you can go to format and you've got your paragraph, but you've also got font. So let's say all capitals, if you need to change everything to be all capitals, or color, or some other setting that might be here. So you do have that option as well, format font. Okay, so that's actually finished now, and I've just completed that one as well. And it now wants placing your evidence document screenshot to show all the settings for the WS body style only. So I'll go back to this. I'm going to go to my WS body style, that one. I'm going to click on the arrow there, and I'm going to choose modify. And what they're looking for is this section down here, which actually has all the settings it's asked for. You can see that after 12, it's based on normal, line spacing is single. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. It has the name of the style at the top, and I can go add, click OK. Let's close that dialog box, otherwise we can't switch. Okay, screenshot of text, body text style. There we go. Okay, this is to do with the database. We're not going to do the database, so we can ignore these ones. And let's keep going. Okay, so the next step, enter the title would store at the start of the document. So we want that at the start of the document. So I'm going to go to the very beginning, press enter. Let's close that now, we don't need it. And I'm going to press enter, go to the top and type would store. The would store, my bad. Remember, type exactly as it is in the question paper. I'll lose a mark for that. Okay. Apply the WS title style to this title. So what I'm going to do before I actually start applying styles, because it may be that, can you see this text, all this text here has got different types of formatting. You've got center aligned, you've got all kinds of formatting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click 3 times in the margin here, 1, 2, 3, and that selects the entire document. You can press Control A and you can do select all. It's up to you how you do it. And then I'm going to use this tool here. This is the clear all formatting. This removes all the formatting from my document and brings it down to basic text, left align, the default settings. Okay, so by doing that, you can see everything now looks exactly the same. And now I can start applying my styles as requested. So I'm going to select that one. And that's going to be my title I'm taking, WS title. So there it is. Oh, no, where are we? Let's click there to see all of them. WS title, there it is. Okay, so it's applied it. And then we go to the next one. Below the title, add the subtitle report by and add your name. So I'm going to go to the end here, press enter. Report by, and I'll add my name. Okay, and then I'm going to apply the WS subtitle style to that. So we select that, and I'm going to choose WS subtitle, that one there. You can see I don't need to worry about the previous formatting, because as soon as I apply my formatting, everything will change and it should start looking normal. After the subtitle text, format the rest of the document into 2 columns of equal width. So we want 2 columns equal width with a 1 centimeter space between them, and then apply the WS body style to it. Okay, so now because I've removed all the formatting from here, when I apply my body style to this, it's going to look, the whole document's going to look similar. So I'm going to take all of this, okay, not the title because it said after the subtitle text. So I'm now going to go to my columns. I'm going to go to more columns. I don't want to choose the default ones. 2 columns, and it wants a 1 centimeter space between them. There we go. And it will automatically adjust the width of the columns based on the gap you've got. Remember, you've got 2 centimeter margin on the left, 2 centimeter margin on the right. What's left in the middle is going to be 1 centimeter gap, and then the rest of your document. So click OK, and that's now formatted 2 columns. Great. And now I want to put the WS body style to that text. So with that already selected, go to home, and I'm going to go to my WS body, which is there. And now you can see all my document looks similar. There are no changes. There nothing's left aligned, center aligned, and justified. It's all similar. Okay, next. Identify the 9 subheadings and apply the WS subheading style. Okay, the subheadings are usually separate headings like that before a paragraph. So I'm going to use my control button to select all of them in one go. So I'm holding the control button down now, and I'm going to let go. I'm going to go up, find the next one, hold the control button down again, and now select. Now you can do this one by one. Hold the control button down, select, let go, hold down, select, let go. And if you want to do this one by one, you can, but it's entirely up to you. Okay, and I'm going to add the subtitle style to those. And I'm just going to zoom out so I can see clearly that I've got 9. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there you go. You see, I've missed a couple, so I need to go have a look. It said there should be 9. There you go. I'm going to select that one. That's a subtitle. Where's the other one? Okay, looks about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Okay, so that's all of them. And now I can go back. Oh, one thing I haven't done up until now is save. I'm just going to click on save there. Make sure if my computer crashes, my document is saved. Okay, place the contents of this file here as a table immediately after the paragraph which ends that. So I'm going to go open that up, enter 17 exhibitions. There it is there. I'm going to copy that. Now to select the whole thing, if I do this, you can see that the grey area here selected, it doesn't go beyond the table. So I've actually only selected the cells. If I select beyond the table, you can see these little tabs. That means you've selected the entire row. That's the whole table. To make sure you've got the entire table, you can click on this little, so if I click away, click on the table, see that little tab at the top with the little crosshair? Click on that, that selects the whole table. And from there you can either right click, copy, Control C, copy, it's up to you. So I'm going to go back, find where I'm supposed to put it. Some currently planned exhibitions. Okay. So I'm looking at the end where it says that. Here we go. So it's right at the end of the document. There you go. I'm going to press enter and I'm going to press paste. And that adds my table in there. Now you can see I've got some widows and orphans like this title. See, I'm not going to bother with this now until the very, very end of this exercise. So let's move on. Merge the cells in the first row. So I'm going to go to this. I'm going to select these cells. Okay, automatically my table tools comes up here. And I can go either to my table or my layout. My layout can either merge cells here, or I can right click and do merge cells. It's exactly the same. It's entirely up to you. Make the first row text only center and bold. Go to home, center aligned and bold. Go away. Make sure that the words are not split where text is wrapped. So that basically means that where this actually means that the text is not wrapped. This one's not wrapped. This one is wrapped. but it doesn't ask for that. It says make sure that the words are not split, so you don't have something like this, so where the word is split where it's text wrapping. Now I use Shift and Enter to demonstrate that. So you want to make sure that the words are complete, but you are allowed to text wrap. It doesn't say you're not allowed to text wrap. So it says here, make sure that the words are not split where text is wrapped. Make sure that all borders and grid lines are displayed when printed. So I'm going to select my table. Now you can see this thin black line around my table. That means the outside border is visible, but inside this lighter grey dotted line means that these are not visible. And if you're not sure, you just go to File, Print, and you can have a look. If I zoom that in a bit more, okay, you can see the inside borders are not visible. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to select my table, and from there I've got my design and my layout. I can go to borders and I can choose all borders. Now if it wants a thicker border on outside, then I want to show you some of the table techniques you can do here. Let's say if I'm going to go to borders and shading, I've got this here. So now I can say, for example, and I'm just going to make this funky. It doesn't really matter because it doesn't say what borders I'm going to use as long as they're visible. So I'm going to use a single line color. Let's do a blue color there. The width is going to be nice and thick on the outside. So with that selected, I'm going to click on the ones on the outside. Okay. And inside, I'm going to do thin black line. So thin, make that a 1/4 point and make that black. And I'm going to click so I can see, there we go, yeah, those lines there. I should get the, oops, I messed that one up a bit. Where's my, okay, I just messed it all up. So let's do that very quickly. It says can get a bit fiddly, but there we go, blue. And we'll do that there, like that, thick blue on the outside, and I'm going to do thin black inside. So I'm going to click in the middle there, click OK. Okay, I've just figured out something silly here. There we go. I wasn't able to get these vertical lines going down. I hadn't realized that. There we go. This one hasn't been selected. So you can choose which ones you want to be available by selecting these. And that one wasn't selected there, so I'm just going to change that one now to black and then click on that middle one there, and that will give me the vertical and the horizontal. Okay, so click OK, and now I've got my table which looks like this. Now it didn't ask for this, but I wanted to show you some extra formatting to do with borders, and I'm also going to change the background of the top row and the left column. So clicking anywhere in here, if I now go to my shading, I can choose, let's say, a light gray, or let's do a different light orange. Let's do an orange one so you can actually see that. And I'm going to select this one as well, so in case you have to do some shading, and I'm going to make that orange as well. Okay, so that's given me that table there. So you can change the shading, the borders, any way you like. Okay, so format the Wood Store catalog table so that it matches the formatting of the exhibitions table. Now, the exhibitions table is the one we just added. So if we now go to this one, this is the Wood Store one. So what I can do is I can select, oops, my bad. I can select some of this table here. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to use the Format Painter. The Format Painter will actually copy the formatting, not the text. So by clicking on this, it's actually formatted, copy that. You can see this paintbrush. Okay, slight correction. I've forgotten to read this part here, which was to apply. Just highlight, like, apply the WS table style to the to the text in the table, and I actually copied the formatting of the other table. So what I just did was copy the formatting of this table and put it in this table, which is wrong. I need to basically select this part of the table here and apply the WS table formatting to it. Okay, so a classic example of not reading all the questions correctly, and I hadn't actually highlighted this, so I should have picked that up, and I did pick it up at the end after I finished, so slight correction there. Okay, so now we can move on. Spell check and proofread the document. Make sure that spacing is consistent. All items are on one page within the page margins. The document and the paragraphs are complete. There are no split tables, widows or orphans. There are no blank pages. So let's go have a look at all this. So first of all, I'm going to zoom out and have a look at the page so I can see it nice and clearly. My first page looks quite neat. I don't have any widows or orphans. This paragraph here, actually I could move down because I've also got this title here which needs to move down. So I could do this, move that down a bit, and there we go. That looks much neater already. Can you see? Now if I move down too much, let's say I move that down a little bit more, what it does, it splits this table across that page, and we don't want that. That shouldn't be allowed. So let's just undo that. So that has actually worked out perfectly because I've got all of this on one page. My tables are not split and everything here looks normal. Okay. Check for any other widows or orphans, check for spelling, so on and so forth. And I'm going to check now. Print out, make sure your name, center number and candidate number appear on your document. We've done that. This is the mail merge. We've got a different tutorial for mail merge, so you don't need that. I just want to show you one more thing in case you have to put a picture or an image inside the document and align it with the paragraph. So I'm going to use this same image here. This document is actually complete for this exercise, so I just want to add to it. I'm going to add an image. Where should we put it? I'm going to add an image here so it's aligned to the right hand side of this here. So I'm just going to click anywhere in my document, doesn't matter where. I'm going to go to insert pictures. I'm going to add this picture again. I'm going to change its size to 2.5 centimeters, keep the aspect ratio, and I'm going to change the wrapping so that it's tight, and that allows the text to wrap around. I can move this there and you can see these green lines that snap into place, and that actually means that now my picture is aligned with the top of this margin and with the right hand side of this margin. Okay, if I wanted it on the left hand side, then I can bring it over here, snap it into place, and that will be perfect. If I do this, you can clearly see that right now my picture is higher than that text there, so it's not aligned with the top of the margin, and also my picture is not aligned with the column width, so you would lose marks for that. So that's how we do that part there. Okay, and that looks perfect. Okay, I think I've covered most of everything. I'm going to show you one more thing, and that's to do with lists. So I'm just going to add a list somewhere. I'm just going to mess this document up now because we're going to be adding more things to it. But if I wanted to add a list here, and I'm just going to put a random list. So if I wanted this to be a list, we can start by selecting. You can add a number value like that, and then you can modify it. You can set the number value directly by saying set the value to 1002, and that will start like that quite easily. Okay, there are other things as well that you can do. For example, if I was to change the number format, I can, let's say, use letters. I can use this, let's say .x1, and it will start as .x1. Okay, if I want an underscore as well, and these numbers will now look like this. Okay, so you can change those if you want to use bullets. If you want to indent, then let's say I'm going to select these two here, and I can choose indent, and it will make these a subcategory of docx2. If I want to demote that back or promote it, I can now also do this, select these and change them to bullets, and you've got an option of different bullet styles that you can use. So that's lists as well. I think that's about it. There's not really much more you can do in Word. Well, there's a lot more you can do in Word, but I don't think for the syllabus. And if I've missed a couple of things out, well, we can add to this tutorial later. Okay, good luck. Okay, one more thing that I've remembered about lists is, if I just make one very quickly, and we'll make this as a numbered list. So if you want to show that, make this list start at say 3 centimeters indented, we need to select the list. And if I take this rectangular tab at the bottom, click on that, I can drag that along to make sure that it starts at least 3 centimeters in. Now the other ones are basically, if I move, let's say this one only, that just moves the number. Can you see? So if I was to select all of these and do that, it will move the numbers, and that's the distance of the numbers themselves. And if I take this triangular one here, that's just the text. So if I take the rectangular part, that moves both the number and the text together. So you can move them indented as much as you like.